we are going to be recording this for anyone that has to either jump off early or for anyone that couldn't make it tonight. So thank you guys for coming on. I am going to share my screen. 1 second. Hold on just 1 second. Can everyone see my screen?
Yes, I can see it.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, perfect. All right, so welcome everybody. I'm gonna get started because I only set this up for an hour. So
Carol, your screen is your email.
hold on, let's stop share. And share. How about now?
Success.
Okay. Sorry about that. Okay, so I'm going to just get started real quick. Thank you guys for joining us. It's going to just be, we're going to try and get through this in an hour as quick as possible. There are 3 sessions. We still have people coming in. So let me go ahead and get started with our agenda today. So some of our first session today is going to be just, we're all going to, we would love to welcome you. We're all going to introduce ourselves. We're going to talk a little bit about your role as a chair and your expectations. We're going to go over some just junior league basics that you know, whether you already know or this is your first time hearing about it, we'd just like to fill you in. And then we're going to go over meeting norms, which is really, as you guys are getting ready to host your first meetings, we would really like to kind of give you a rundown of some of that. And then at the end, we'll go ahead and have some time for questions. So with that said, let me just go ahead and tell you. So this is going to be 3 separate chair trainings. So today is basically just going to be, like I said, our basics. Next Tuesday, we have, it's called Forms and Finance, which is a very important one as well. So we're going to have Francis Johari present communication and forms, and we're going to have Holly McNulty present all of our finance. And that's a really important one because she's also going to go over that wonderful finance Excel sheet that we all need to figure out for budgeting. So I would say definitely please make it a point to be here for next week. And then whatever we have left to still cover, which is really going to be more about communication and difficult conversations, delegation, and a lot more of like a emotional intelligence training. That'll be more on the 3rd week. So make sure you guys are all signed up for it. They're all going to be on Zoom. So I would like to first congratulate you on becoming a chair. And we have Jamie Sauer on today, and she's going to say a couple of words. Jamie.
Hi, everyone. Thank you, Carol. I just wanted to say congratulations for being chair for this year. And thank you, everyone, for serving and stepping up to leadership. You guys have the opportunity to really shape the league this year and make a difference for our members. And to help guide them, to train them to develop the potential of our members. So please motivate and encourage them and just be there for them whenever they need it. And thank you so much for everything. We're all here for you if you ever have any questions.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Jamie. So while I have you guys all here, I'm going to go back to a gallery view. And I would love for you guys to introduce yourselves. Let me know what you're going to be chairing this year. So I'll start out on my screen with Bridget Lanford.
Hi, I'm Bridget, and I'm going to be chairing Community Garden for the big move this year, and I'm really excited to get everything growing over there.
Awesome. And Jocelyn?
Come back to me. I have people walking through the house right now. Give me like 2 minutes.
Okay, so we'll go with Christina Seamster.
Hi, everybody. I'm chairing the Junior Leadership Program this year.
Awesome. A brand new committee, so that should be exciting.
Really exciting.
And then Julie?
Hi there, I'm Julie Shake. I will be co-chairing the 50th Anniversary Small Events Committee.
Excellent. And Dana?
Me, Dana, or there's a Dana
Dana,
actually
yeah.
on the call. Okay, I just didn't want to. So I'm Dana Scaff and I'm chairing the recruiting committee.
Okay, and we have Carrie.
Hi, everybody. I'm Carrie Kroll. I am the transfer liaison this year.
Awesome. And Bridget?
Hey there, Bridget Jones. I'm going to be chairing the member training committee this year. Super pumped.
And Amy?
Hello, I'm Amy Hansen, and I am co-chairing with Julie the 50th Anniversary Small Events Committee.
That's awesome. Great, guys. And Nicole?
Hi, I'm Nicole Skellinger. I'm going to be co-chairing public affairs this year with Renee, who I'm about to send the link to so she can join as well.
Perfect. And Amy Krigsman?
Hi, I'm chairing nonprofit training.
Awesome. Miss Mary Lauderdale?
Hi, everyone. I am your placement chair, and I have an assistant, which is Heather Ronan. I'm not sure if she's on, but I also just want to put her out there as well.
Awesome. And Heather, are you on? I think she just joined us. And then Chase?
Hey there, everyone. Sorry I'm not on video. I'm just getting in from work. I am chairing Directory and Impact this year under Francis.
Awesome. And Ashley Cole?
Hey there, I am chairing the member engagement this year.
That's a fun one. And then Heather Ronan, if you're back with us.
Yeah, hi everybody. Sorry, I'm driving, so no video. Yeah, assistant placement with Mary. So nice to see everybody, or hear everybody anyway.
Awesome. Well, that's great. I love seeing all new chairs. So I'm really excited that you're all here, and I can't wait to see what you guys are going to do. Can you guys still see my screen that says congratulations? Yes? Okay.
I just wanted to jump in real quick. I'm chairing Done in a Day this year. So I had to
Perfect.
take a pass.
So one of the things I wanted to start out with is we want to talk about our leadership path within the league. So I wanted to kind of start out with our approval process and kind of like where it all starts and where it all ends. And the best way to describe it is, hold on, let me move some of my stuff over here, is we all have committee members. So everyone here has committee members. Then this is us, where you guys are our committee chairs. Then you have everyone in here has a team manager. And then we have a management team. And from that, we all are under the managing director. So this is our approval process. And that's one of the first things that we want to go over is kind of like the order of how things kind of trickle up the ladder. So if your committee member has something, you are their first person that they're going to. And then you as the committee chair, go to your manager for everything. And then the manager takes it to the management team. And then we all bring it to Sam Eckhart, who's our managing director. And that's, for most committees, this is the approval process of, and your manager will be able to tell you whether it's something that you need approved or whether it's something you can go ahead and just do. So remember that managers are always here to help you. And as Jamie said, like, we have such a big support team. You guys can always reach out. Like, we're always going to be there to help you. So you have placement, you have management. We're all going to be there to answer any of your questions. So I want to go over just real quick what the board looks like. So our lovely Jamie Sauer, who you guys just met a few minutes ago, is our president. She is on the board, and everybody on here is part of the board. So as you know, our junior league is split up between the board and management. Next up is your management team. Everybody in this room should know who their manager is or who they're responding to. I know that community issues and fundraising doesn't have a manager yet, but I know that Sam is filling in for now. So these are all our managers here. So everybody should have by this point at least have met with your manager, have had some sort of interaction. If you haven't, please make sure that you're reaching out, or if you have any questions, we can always help you. So our managers are, so we have Sam Eckhart. I don't know if she's on the call today. She's our managing director. And so we as managers all kind of we go up to her on the management team. So then we have Frances Johari this year, who is on our call today, I believe. She is in charge of all our communications. We have Holly McNulty, who's in charge of finance. Melissa Roberts is in charge of technology. And I'm Carol Lara, and I'm this year's training manager. And we have Megan Shea, who I believe is also on the call, who is in charge of all of membership. So let me tell you a little bit about your managers. So what is our job as our managers? So what your team manager does for you is we are here to make recommendations. We are the sounding board for committee issues. So if anything that's going on in your committee that you have an issue with, feel free to always come to us as your manager. We will help you work through things out. We will be there as much as you want us to help you through any questions you may have. We also are responsible for bringing any requests and approvals to the management team. We help you with any timelines or projects that you might have or have any questions on planning. We also our main goal is to determine how we get from here to the future. And we're also the eyes and ears of the membership. So what you guys tell us your committee members are telling you, we go back to management and we discuss. We also are here mainly to support you because that's our main job. And that's really why we became managers, is to support you and to be your liaison for the league. So once again, I would say definitely get to know your manager. Hopefully everybody here has had a meeting with them. And then next, let's look at this year's slate. So this is kind of the overview of how everything is set up this year so far. So everybody should know who, number one, their manager is, and everybody else that's on your team. So hopefully you guys have gotten to meet some of your other teammates, which will work great in having collaborations throughout the year later on. So let's talk about what your role as a chair is going to be this year. So some of the things is, as a chair, you have a really big job, mainly because you're going to be someone's mentor this year. You're also going to be a volunteer coordinator. Your most important job is really to be a motivator and to be everyone's leader. So you are in charge of a committee and to be a leader to them. You're also going to act as a trainer because you are going to be the person that's going to teach some of these committee members how to fill out forms, how to help you do things. And most importantly, you're also going to be a planner. So everyone should be excited to do all these things. You have all the skills already for leadership. So I'm excited for you guys to get started. I know some of you have already gotten started. So let's go over a little bit what you'll be doing as a chair. So as a chair, you'll be overseeing the work of your committee members and any projects or programs that you assign your committee. You're also going to be responsible for the budget. So your manager is going to update you on budgets, and you are responsible for keeping track of that budget. You're going to make decisions on the projects and programs that you pick out. You're going to be responsible for carrying out our Junior League mission and vision. And you're going to update and inform your manager on all of your committee issues. So this is what you do. There is a monthly report that you have to hand in to your manager. This is your time to let us as managers know what is happening in your committee. So this report, we're not going to go over it in detail because every manager might want things done a little differently, but the report is due on the 3rd week of the month. So ask your manager when exactly the date that they want it by what format they want it in. So this is going to be important. And as we just talked about, those committee reports go to your manager, they put them together, and then that's what's presented to the management team. And then the managing director presents it to the board. So you could see how it all trickles up. So also remember that your job as the chair of the committee is not to do it all yourself, but your main job is really to coordinate and delegate wisely. You're able to be there to oversee, support, and lead. So remember, you don't have to do all of the work yourself. You guys are getting committee members. Remember to delegate, and we will be doing a delegation training later on. But that's very important, ask for help. Don't be afraid to ask your committee members for help because that's why they chose to be on your committee. Also, familiarize yourself with any league policies. Under members' resources, our league policies are on there as well as our bylaws. If you ever have time, familiarize yourself with policies that might affect your committee. And this way you can kind of set expectations and boundaries. Also, we're going to talk about drafting simple committee operating principles. So what you should do as a chair right now is figure out what the frequency of your meetings are going to be, when you guys are going to meet, what are the logistics of all your meetings, right? Also, get to know the members of your committee. It's really important. Everybody is getting rosters from placement, so you should know who your committee members are. Reach out to them, introduce yourself, find out, whether, what they're doing this summer. Let them know, oh, I prefer to send an email once weekly. I prefer to text people. Have a small meeting, get to know everybody, and also ensure that everybody is participating. So it's really important to kind of engage everybody, and we'll go into that a little bit later. So what do we expect from you during your term? Well, We expect for you to keep your committees on track. So you should have your work plan. So your job is to follow that through. We expect you to meet regularly and keep everybody on the same wavelength. We're going to go a lot more on how to host a meeting, but also keep your meetings enjoyable and productive as always. So recognize contributions and keep everyone motivated. So that's part of the motivator part of your role. So some of the ways we can do this is really during your meetings, acknowledge people who are really going above and beyond on your committee. And you'll see that a little bit more during the year. I mean, it goes without saying with any committee, not everyone is going to be as engaged and as involved as other members. You know, that's okay. At the end of the day, you have to remember we are all volunteers. So, you know, people have things coming up, but definitely try and recognize if something's happening with your members. And that's part of, you know, keeping in touch with them, calling them. You know, if they're not showing up to your meetings, find out what's happening. Also, budgets. So we are going to have a whole meeting on budgets because the budgets can be a little tricky if it's the first time you're ever seeing that Excel sheet. So you are responsible for keeping your budgets and keeping your committee's budget along the year. So if you have a certain amount of money, plan ahead in the beginning of the year how much you can spend per event, how much you can spend per different line item. And I don't know if everyone has seen their budgets yet, but everything is done by line items. So if you only have $400 to spend on food, remember that that's all you have for the whole year. So plan accordingly if that's the case. So it's really about planning when it comes to your budget. Also, sometime around mid-year, we usually ask you to kind of do an assessment, and that's really when you check in with your manager and just see where you guys are and how far you've come on the goals. And once again, as we said, your main way of sharing is your reports. Everybody here will have a great relationship with their manager and you're going to reach out to them. You're probably going to speak to them a million times. You should feel comfortable reaching out to them for any reason and fill them in on what's happening. If you're having issues with your committee members or you're worried about something or something's not going to go through in time. So fill them in so that we're not coming into different surprises. So when you're appointed committee chair, everybody here should have already reviewed their job description and the job description of your committee members. So that way you know what you're going into, right? But I assume everybody here already has chosen to be in leadership because you read the description and you said that sounds perfect for me. So familiarize yourself with strategic plans and your annual plans. So right about now, as you know, these last 2 weeks have all been all about annual plans, which I'm sure you've been working with your managers, and you probably will be, if you haven't already presented, you probably are presenting this week. Your manager will help you get that annual work plan done. So our plan is really going to show us how we contribute. How we contribute to fulfill the league's annual and strategic plans. If you have any questions on that, once again, ask your managers. I know that they are working on the newest strategic plan. So you want to make sure that everything you're doing for your committee is falling within what we want as your goals and directions. So at this time, your annual plan is really to tell the board and management what your goal is going to be. So try and keep that on track throughout the year. Next up is everybody should have had a turnover. So the turnover is really important because that's how you get the passed down information. Some of you are on brand new committees, so you didn't have a turnover, which is great because you really just get to create it on your own, which is even more exciting. There might not have been a committee. You know, I know the 50th annual fundraiser probably didn't have that last year. So, but you should have had some sort of turnover. And then most importantly, chair training is important because this is where you're going to get to know those little ins and bits that you need, just the basics of it. And next is familiarize yourself with just basic league procedures. So that's really what we're doing here in chair training is your expense reimbursements. That's going to come up next week on how to go ahead and do that for your budgets and financing. Different ways of communication. That's also next week, which Francis will go ahead and go over some of the forms and how to promote your committees, how social media works, what the protocols are, and then also how to schedule meetings. So we'll go over that real quick tonight. So those are just some of the basics for now. And I just want to let you guys know that I can't see questions, but if you do have questions, put them in either the Q&A or the chat, and we'll go over them at the end. So right now, what I would highly suggest doing is to hold off a kickoff meeting, whether it's through Zoom or in person. You know, try and get your committee together. So right now, review, you know, hold off a kickoff meeting and just kind of have everybody get to know each other. When you're together, make sure this is after, of course, you get your annual plan and you present. And you're going to present and gain a shared understanding of what your work plan is. So let your committee know what your goals are and what their expectations are going to be. Then what I would do is discuss all the tasks. So before you meet with them, kind of think in your head, like, how many different tasks do I have to get done? You know, everybody's committee is very different. So find out what your team has in regards to interests, skills, and aspirations. And I think that that's really important because you might have someone on your team that is really great at forums and meetings. And so you're like, hey, now you're the person that's in charge of sending out the communication. Somebody else might be really great at Excel sheets. So get to know what strengths you have on your team and then base your tasks on that. And then when leading a meeting, so one of the meeting norms we like to do is begin and end on time. So always plan ahead how long you want your meetings to go. We certainly don't encourage your meetings to be hours and hours long. You know, people, once again, we're all volunteers. So always keep it to a timely manner and be respectful of people's time. In true Junior League fashion, we love doing an icebreaker. So with your meetings, always plan an icebreaker. This is a great way for your committee members to get to know each other. These things could be very simple. It's as easy as just, you know, what's the last book you read? Or it can be deeper questions. And it really just loosens everybody up to start speaking to each other, and it doesn't give it that super stiff meeting feeling. It's really important that everyone is participating. If you notice that someone is never saying anything in your meetings or is not really interested, you know, ask them, hey, you know, Julie, what is your opinion on what I just discussed? Does anyone on this team have any ideas different than what I have? I know, you know, with one of my chairs, you know, we do trainings. And so she asked everybody on the team to throw out an idea for a training. Same thing with like member engagement. So really try and involve your committee. So always try and steer the group to work purposely and cooperatively. So remember that you're ending on time So you don't want the meeting to go off course. So always try and bring the group back to what it is you're there for. I know we all love to get together, we all love to talk and chit chat, but at the end of the day, if some people only have an hour to give you for your meeting, you need to keep it on track and always keep it purposeful. Always make sure that someone takes notes. So I'm going to go over real quick after this some of the meeting minutes and what they should look like. You should always also have an agenda. Your agenda, there is a template on the member resources. So always have an agenda and always try and stick to the agenda. So that is a requirement for your meeting. So an agenda, and then pick someone at your meeting that's going to be able to take notes. They can be as detailed as possible. I mean, you want to have some sort of track of what you discussed in your meetings. And that's something that gets uploaded to Group Share. And I believe it also gets sent to your manager. Also, you should not be the person taking the notes because you're the person presenting. So maybe somebody in your group, if nobody volunteers, just go ahead and pick someone. You know, once again, they just have to take notes when it starts, what the agenda items were discussed, and what everyone decided on. As I said, always keep it on time and keep it to the agenda. The reason why everybody should have the agenda items is so that you stay on track. After your discussion is complete, you should summarize your main points and then just move on agreement to next steps. Also, leave the group to make their own decisions and lay out a plan for action. So once again, we don't expect you to do this on your own. Ask for your group's help. You know, everybody's ideas are always welcome. So how can we go ahead and get this plan to the end? You know, with a lot of the newer committees, you guys are creating this from scratch. So ask your committee members, like, do you guys have any ideas of how we can get it from point A to point B? Because they might be thinking of something that you didn't think about. So it's a collaboration. Consider some in-meeting training opportunities. This is something that we've started doing the last few years, and we do a lot with the provisionals, and it's really just in-meeting training kind of breaks up a little bit of just talking about your regular committee. Is if you want to talk to them about, you know, communication levels or delegation, like think of it, as I always say, as a training opportunity. So we have so many different mini trainings that you can do in your meetings if you really wanted to break it up. So, you know, feel free to reach out to me if you need any ideas and you want to go ahead and kind of train them. For some of the fundraising committees, you know, we have a training called, you know, Just the Ask, I think it's called. And we do that with our provisionals. So we already have those trainings. We already have those slides for you. You know, something else that we all love doing is the elevator pitch. I'm sure you guys, some of you remember, we've done that in both GMMs and provisional year. You know, I can send you the slides for the elevator pitch and you can go through it with them. That's a great activity to have everyone kind of practice and break up your meetings. So if anyone's interested in any of those, please, you know, feel free to reach out to me. I can go ahead and guide you and walk you guys through it on how we can go ahead and kind of always provide a little bit of extra training in your meeting. Also keep records. So mainly it's going to be your meeting minutes and anything that you really have. We do have a group share on the member site. We're going to go into more detail on that in one of the other chair trainings, but having everything in one spot makes it a lot easier for turnover next year. So everything should be in your group share folders. When you log into the member site, there's the top, it says groups. That's going to give you access to everything that's where you can go ahead and upload your files there. So that next year, when someone takes over, they have everything in one place. So think of it as our own Google Drive, but it happens to be on the member site. It's also a great way for your manager to go in and see your notes and see your meeting minutes and kind of see what's going on. So it's a one-stop hub, basically. And also you are responsible for not just hosting the meeting, but making them really exclusive or inclusive rather. And you're also responsible for organizing the meetings. So that is one of your responsibilities as a chair. At the beginning of your meeting, whether you're doing it in person or Zoom, you're responsible for the attendance. So if it's in person, what I would do is, if you want to even put it on your agenda, first order is, hey, everybody, has everybody self-checked in? So it's on the app. Everybody should have that Seeing Spot app. Your committee members should. And let's say your meeting is at a certain place, it will pick that up and check them in. If you're on Zoom, make sure you're writing down everybody that's here so that then you can hand it into info@jlbr.org. That's Marcy. Everybody here, if you don't know Marcy, you're going to get to know Marcy really well. She is a gem and she is our admin for Junior League. And she helps us with a lot of the attendance issues. So she's really somebody that if you're doing a Zoom, write down everybody's name or go ahead and take attendance, and then you just go ahead and hand that in so that people can get rewards for it. And so next, we're going to go back to the norms that we were discussing. So discuss norms and expectations, right? Set your expectations really early in your meeting. So you have committee members, let them know what your expectations of them are, right? Always tell them, you know, you expect meeting participation because you're all together. It's not just a committee of just one chair, and it's not just a committee of one person. It's everybody working together. If you know right now, I know what some of the committees that have things that have heavier times. I know for one, like recruiting right now, this is our really heavy recruiting time. So it's important for recruiting and those committee members to know this is when I need all hands on deck. So if someone cannot be there, if you know you have an event in December, you know, like Women Volunteer of the Year, let's say, your committee members should know that they will be needed, especially during that. So let them know of when you need them, when your slow times will be. That way they don't have any, you know, surprises in the end. Also, what's required of a member who's missing committee meetings? That's something that should that be happening later on, you can discuss with your manager, and then we discuss with placement. So placement comes in and helps us a lot. When someone, you will all get a placement advisor as well, and they will be there to really help you with these issues. If you have a committee member that you've tried to reach a couple of times and they're not responding to you, that's something that you definitely have support, and we can go ahead and help you with that. And then also find out, what is it that your committee members want from you and from the committee? What is it that they're trying to get out of this, you know? So those are all good questions and good things to just kind of set early on so that people later on don't say, you know what, you never told me it was going to be so busy. You never told me we were going to have to work 2 weeks in December. I'm always away in December and this isn't going to work for me. Let's find those things out pretty early. So also abide by expectations. So just like our committee members have expectations, we have expectations as well as chairs. So let's be role models. One of the examples, and this comes straight from JALI, is always wear your name tags to all Junior League events. behave in a way that you want your committee members to emulate. So as you're presenting yourself, show everyone the same respect you would want them to show you. So remember that in your meetings, it's really important to just respect each other and to really value each other's opinions. Also, when you make a commitment, follow through. If you say to your committee member, you know what, I'll get you that by Thursday, I'll get you an answer. Try your best to follow through and make sure that you're getting your committee what they need. Okay, so next is meet with a purpose. So only meet with your committee when you've got work to do or items to discuss. So there's no reason to have 2 to 3 meetings a week, right? Just to get together, that's unnecessary. So by now you should have decided when you want to have your meetings, what the frequency of your meetings are. So we don't want meetings to be excessive. Once again, we're all volunteers. We all have families and jobs. So we only want meetings when there's a purpose for them. So how to prepare for your meetings. So always prepare an agenda and send it out ahead of time. This is easy, just the templates on member resources, just go ahead, email it to everybody. If you want to bring one printed, that's great. They don't have to do that. If you have additional material, email it to them, you know. Also, most importantly, check the main Junior League calendar so that your events are not coinciding with another big event. I can't begin to tell you how many times someone didn't check the calendar and you have this big fundraiser on the same night as something else is going on. So what's going to happen? Junior League members are now going to be split, right? Or you have it on the same day as something else in the VCRC. So it's important we put everything on the calendar, check the calendar, make sure that your meeting's not coinciding with something else. Also, set your meetings up well in advance. So you can now start submitting your form for when your committee meetings are. You know, if you are going to do it in person, there's only limited amounts of room at the VCRC because we only have 3 rooms we can have meetings in. So definitely try and request that as soon as possible. It also helps it be on the calendar a lot earlier, and it helps your committee members plan ahead. Everybody here will have access to the VCRC, so everybody gets a fob key. This is something that you are responsible to contact Marcy for and get a fob key. We do have an alarm code that they will give you once you get your fob key. You will be responsible for opening and closing the VCRC if you're having a meeting. If you're the only person there, you're responsible for closing, and they'll go through the closing procedure with you. So please put on your notes that to reach out to Marcy. They should have the fob keys already. You're going to go sign out your fob key, and this will allow you to get into the building. As everyone knows, Marcy's there Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, but most of our meetings are in the evening, or, you know, or even if you need to go on weekends and do some work, it's just better if you have a fob key. And then, as I said, let's talk about respect at our meetings, right? We always want to respect your committee's time and offer alternative meeting methods. That's more important now than ever because we are still in a transition where not everybody is comfortable in person. Some people are still only doing Zoom. So for the time being, just try and be understanding and as flexible as you can. And also, you can always offer online video tools, which is basically a different form of Zoom as well. So this is our member meeting and event room location request form. So anyone who has not submitted their dates for your committee meetings, when you get a chance, go on the member site. This is under forms, and it's called member meetings and event form. And so you're just gonna basically, when you drop down here, it's all a drop down in a simple fill-in. You can set all of your meetings up with one form. So if you know that your form is, or you know that your meeting is always on the third Tuesday of the month, all you have to do is just put in all the dates of all the third Tuesdays, and Marcy will put it on the calendar for you. When it comes to meetings, committee meetings are only 5 rewards. So you can't put in there that every person's getting 27 rewards, because they're not going to do it for you. You're going to put your information as the contact person, and you're always going to put your email. And then at the bottom, dates and times is where you can put multiple dates and times. So the form is really self-explanatory. It goes right through, and then you'll hear from Marcy once you see it on the calendar. Usually we do ask that you give her a couple of days. You know, she is only one person and she is handling all of the league items. So be patient, and then just follow up on it. And as soon as you see it, let your committee members know. And then real quick, I don't expect you guys to read all of this, but this is also, I believe it's on our website as well, just why we need the minutes. And just, I'm just going to look at the middle part of it. Important things for your minutes is definitely what date your meeting is, time, and the place of the meeting. Who chaired the meeting? That's obviously you guys. Was it a regular meeting? Was it your standard committee meeting? Was it an emergency meeting? What important information did you discuss? What new items did you give them out during the meeting? You can also write what decisions and actions were taken. You could take, the person taking the notes can write, you know, Sally Lou said this and she suggested this. So always keep those notes on you. And then anything that was tabled during your meeting, you should put in there that you will be speaking about it later, or maybe you'll touch base after you get more information. Those are important things that should be in your meeting notes. Another thing we also suggest that you kind of bring up in your meetings is the any upcoming events. As a league, we do like everybody to kind of promote each other's events. So always let your committee know of any upcoming events that are happening. And so all of that can go in your meeting minutes. So it's really just your main record. So a year from now, if someone wants to see what, you know, what the 50th anniversary was speaking about in September of last year, we can go to the group share and we can pull up your minutes. And it's a real great way to just keep track of what was happening. And next, a little bit about our meetings. Is these are ways for you to show recognition and participation. So real quick, one of the things that I love doing and that I learned from the Junior League was handwritten thank you notes. The Junior League has stationery at the VCRC that is free to you. You can go in, take, you know, a stack and handwrite thank you notes to someone that you see that is going above and beyond. You know, you won't believe how much a thank you note goes so far. This is something that I do in my personal life, in my Junior League life, and also in my business life. My clients, whenever, every Wednesday I set an hour aside. It doesn't take me an hour, but, and I write thank you notes to all my clients. I write thank you notes to my committee members or my chairs, because it is just nice to get mail and to hear from you. So provide an opportunity for members to present to their peers. So when you can empower another woman, please try and do it. If you see someone on your team that has a great idea, encourage them to present it at your committee meeting. Encourage them to talk about their idea so that they feel like they're fully participating. Once again, it's great to have little shout outs at every meeting. You know, I can say, hey, Bridget, you've been doing an awesome job, like great for, you know, she's been reaching out to everybody, already has trainings planned. Just all different little things that makes people feel special. As chairs, you are responsible for nominating members of the month. So if you see someone going above and beyond, there is a member of the month form. And we always encourage you to please nominate people for this. It's a great way to really show, how thankful you are. And then always just say a simple thank you, at the end of every meeting, just thank them for taking time out and being part of your committee, for making all of this come true. And also there is, we rely on you guys to let us know and to let us know of member life events. So remember that you guys are their first level of responses. So if you know someone just had a baby or is getting married, we have someone at Junior League that takes care of that stuff, sends them cards, sends them flowers. We want to hear about life events. So there is a life event form on the website, which is real easy. Your committee members better than we do. So make sure you nominate them and you send them a life event card. So many times we've had people have someone in their family pass away, and we need to reach out and just send them a note, and it just goes, such a long way. So I'm going to touch upon Robert's Rules of Order real quick. It's not something that we're going to go into very deep. Robert's Rules of Order are really just a great way to keep the flow of your meeting going. Everybody here has been to a general member meeting, and the way we start in a parliamentary procedure. So this is something that we're going to have a training on later on this summer, so that you have more details on it. There's some really great cheat sheets online as well for Robert's Rules of Order, if anyone ever wants to take a look at this. And one of the things we like to follow up with Robert's Rules of Order is that it's really important to give each speaker your undivided attention. It also is important to kind of keep your emotional pulse on discussions and keep everything flowing through the meeting. I know we spoke about it a little bit earlier. We need to always guide the group back to the agenda, and Robert's Rules of Order, which is the parliamentary way of holding a meeting, has a lot of those tips and the language for it. So we won't spend that much time on it today. So how to ensure your follow through? So the main thing is, we all have really big dreams here, and we all have really great things we want to do with our committees. But remember, once again, let's not let's not bite off more than we can chew. So make your asks smaller, easier, more flexible, so that you can get more accomplished. It's all about small victories. Let your committee negotiate delivery. So choose the deadlines, because deadlines are very important for us, but also let them know, choose healthy deadlines. Don't say, I need this done by midnight tonight, because that's not fair to anybody. If something is urgent, it's important to give them a deadline, but also say, this is important, or say, you know what? The board has voted that we need to get this project running by so-and-so date. How do we get that done? Also, ask your committee to communicate with you if something isn't getting done. If you have passed a task to someone and they just can't get it done, they should not be waiting till the last day to tell you. So, right away, keep on them. If they can't deliver, they need to tell you ahead of time. So execute good project management and summarize your follow-ups. So that's basically what goes in your report. You could say, I tasked this out and this is what we've accomplished this month. And always end your meeting with clear agreements on specific actions. And so like we said, for example, hey, Sally, I'm going to need you to call the following 10 people for donations by, the end of the month. Do you think that you can get that done? If you cannot, please let me know, and then I will task someone else to help you with it. And so make sure that we know whether it's going to be complete or not. And you'll get to know with, in your meetings. Don't wait till your next month's meeting to find out that everything you tasked out was not done, because that's only going to delay you as a chair completing your projects. So we made it just on time. So I still have, so next week, like I said, is going to be finance, fun, and communications. So let me end my slideshow here. So does anyone have questions? And yes, I will go ahead and I will email you guys the slides if you want to review them. So if anybody has any questions, I hope everyone can also attend next week, because that's going to be really important with the finance and communication forms as well. And like I said, we're going to do as much as we can and try and prepare you as best as possible to be a successful chair. One thing that people told me very early on is that league doesn't let you fail. So we're here to help you. So no questions at all. I'm surprised we finished on time, everybody. All right. Well, if you do come up with any questions, you can just email me at trainingmanager@jlbr.org. Remember, you can always email your manager as well. So that I will see everybody next week.
Thank you so much, Carol. It was great.
Thanks, Carol.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Bye,
Carol.
everyone. Have a good night.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you.